Welcome to Search for Signs. My name is Gary Willing. If this information interests you, please press the like and subscribe button and press the bell for notifications. Now, if you have been living under a rock for the last, 3 or 4 months, 5 months, you might not be aware that the U.S. House of Representatives is probably going to impeach the current current U.S. President Donald Trump. And if you have been paying attention to the news, and you might not be paying attention to it as much as I have been, because I find this stuff really fascinating, and you're kind of keeping an open mind to this and not looking at it from a partisan point of view, you can't help but start to be alarmed by who the United States elected and put into office as president, because he's acting just like a lot of the dictators that we have seen over the years, where even people that were his working for him or with him or in the news media that were his supporters or so forth, if they criticize him even in the slightest little bit, he flies off the handle and starts, blasting them, discrediting them, belittling them, attacking them, threatening them, and it's amazing and scary to watch at the same time. And I think that what we're seeing is all this corruption in the United States government coming to the surface. And whether it will ensnare Democrats too, it probably will. And if Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton are breaking the law, they should be held accountable just as much as the current president should be held accountable too. But at the same time, he is the sitting president of the United States. He's not above the law either. But yet he acts like it every day, and he flaunts it every day. And it's almost like he's daring people to challenge him in a lot of ways. And I think that the example that we see in a world leader in Donald Trump, and even others, on both sides of the aisle, I think Maitreya's assessment of the universe is true, that everything has its opposites. Just because we're seeing this today doesn't mean that, a year from now, 2 years from now, we won't be seeing world leaders that are totally different, that are more service-oriented, that are, like Abraham Lincoln, perhaps, or Roosevelt, or Kennedy, or, Winston Churchill, or something like that. Where people, they're there to service and serve their country, more than themselves. Now, the other thing is, and I'm kind of segueing into a master's article, Benjamin Creme's master wrote an article in every one of Share International's magazines that were published, and they were about a wide variety of topics. They could be anything from, what Maitreya's role in the future will be, the humanities role, and so forth, the reception of Maitreya. A lot of times he spoke out against the government of the time, like he did with the Bush administration and so forth. Other times, he's talking about current events that are going on at that time and so forth. And so I always found him to be very enlightening. And, hindsight's 20/20. So a lot of times when I was reading articles that he wrote back in the 80s, you could see it working out the way that he said it did. Because, we're looking at it 20 years, in the past, right? Now, I also notice that when I read Benjamin Creme's master's articles, that the quality of it is what strikes me. It's the same as Mozart's music or Da Vinci's paintings or Rembrandt's paintings. There's this simplicity yet depth to it that it's hard to articulate. And when a person listens to Mozart's music, or they go to the Louvre and they see the Mona Lisa, there's not much you can really add to it to make it any better or take away from it. Like you can't just listen to a Mozart piece and go, if he would have just taken that one note out, it would have been so much better. It's perfect the way it is. And it's the same thing with these articles. It's like he speaks on it, and he goes right to the heart of the matter with not a lot of BS. I don't know. It's inspiring, but I always found it very illuminating. But I just wanted to share this in the midst of all the stuff that's going on, because as large and as influential as the United States is, this political theater is only setting us back as long as it's going on. It's only holding us up, I guess is a better way of saying it. Because I don't think a lot's going to get done in this country until this is all resolved, or if it's ever resolved. And then, it spills over into other countries and everything, because the United States kind of has its hand in a lot of stuff. So, hopefully I'm wrong in that regard. But also I wanted to say that, even though I've never seen Maitreya on TV as of yet, I do believe he's out on TV speaking directly to humanity. And I wanted to share this article. I think I either spoke a little bit about it in another video, or I can't remember if I read the whole thing or not. It doesn't really matter. It's good to hear again. But I wanted to kind of share this with my listeners because I think it's important to what's going on today. Now, this article was published in Share International, but I'm reading it out of A Master Speaks, Volume 2, and it's on page 139, and it was written in April of 2010. So it's been, 9 years, going on almost 10 years. But I think it's pertinent to what's going on today as well, especially in terms of what Maitreya is doing out on TV. From now, men will take more seriously the idea that help is at hand, that they are not alone, not without aid in their grief and helplessness. Recent events have brought again to humanity the hope that at the point of their greatest need, when they had all but relinquished hope of succor, somehow their prayers would be answered and their pain assuaged. So potent has been the response to the essence of Maitreya's words, however quietly or obliquely uttered, that men already feel heartened and reassured that all will be well, that the future for men will be just and kind, even better than they dared to hope. Many are already beginning to doubt that this man is really, quote, one of us, but is someone sent from above to answer their call for help and to ease their burden. Many, doubtless, find his words unhelpful and obstructive to their desires, but many more, by far, sense the simple truth of his ideas and await eagerly their fruition. Thus quietly and steadily does Maitreya aid the plight of men. Some have already recognized him and pray to him. Others are glad to hear aloud the answers to their many problems and await the opportunity to play a part in their solution. Thus do the simple words of Maitreya echo through the world. Thus do they awaken in men the hope of renewal. Where enough men are so awakened and ready for change, Maitreya will increase the tempo and energy of his delivery and galvanize millions to call for action on their own behalf. Men must understand that action must come from themselves, else nothing new can happen. Where men realize this, they will act spontaneously and with hearts ablaze with hope. So will it be. So will men fulfill their destiny and create the better framework for the new age which opens before them. Maitreya is at the beginning only of his task to guide men into right relationship, but already he finds that his words encourage and soon will galvanize millions to act and claim their destiny, not through revolution, but through revelation of their own divinity. Thank you, and hope you have a great day. Remember to take action and help SOP save our planet. Thanks for listening, and and we look forward to talking to you again in future videos.